We're starting. Whoop, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Hopefully, you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. Make sure you check out our webpage, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Follow us on the Instagram, the Twitter, and everywhere else in the whole world because we will be there. All right.
Or will we?
We will. What are we talking about today?
Talking about all kinds of things.
Okay.
But not that much.
All right. Well, what do you want to start with?
Well, I've got a couple that I saw alone.
Why would you see movies without me?
Because you're never here to talk to me.
Well,
I actually only have one that I saw by myself because you ended up watching the other one. So we have,
I did.
We have a couple of new Blu-rays and we only have one theatrical one we saw.
Very good. Okay.
Where would you like to start?
You
want to talk about the one you just finished?
Yeah, I just finished
it's fresh in your brain.
Fresh. I'm really liking this poster up here. We have a new poster up, and I'm very excited about it. We probably have to post a picture. Anyhow, so we just saw the movie The Professor, starring Johnny Depp and a bunch of other people.
I'm not ready. Hold on. I could have showed those.
Do you have it ready? There you go, The Professor. Did this not get a big release, I don't think?
It did not. It came straight to video. I think the problem is, there's been a lot of Me Too things with Mr. Depp. But mostly it wasn't Me Too like the outside world. It was that whole divorce with Amber Heard situation, which he got accused of a lot of abuse and this stuff. But at the same time, he's recently, from what I've read, been filing a defamation suit against her, saying that she lied about a bunch of stuff, and he has proof. So there's new cases going on. So I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know really what happened unless we were there, and we weren't. This is his latest film. That's why a lot of the other ones are being like, even with the last, what are you doing?
I'm moving this out of the way so you can put it here.
Well, you still can't see it.
The people on the Facebook
Okay, well, that's why I'm holding it so both sides can see it. So put your stupid computer back.
But it was blocking a lot.
Just put your dumb computer back.
Okay.
It's just blocking you. Nobody wants to see you.
Yes, they do.
Anyway, that's why a lot of the movies that have him in it, like the last Fantastic Beasts movies weren't promoting him as much. Because I think they're thinking that maybe people aren't going to watch it because of him. But anyway, this is the latest. It's a straight.
So many people love him.
I still love him as an actor. I mean, if he did what they said he did, then shame on him. That's a horrible thing. But I didn't watch this for him. I watched it for the movie. And I have a thing about I'm kind of against boycotting movies because there's so many other people that poured their lives into these movies that I don't think their work should not be seen just because one person's in it.
Yeah.
Now, if the one person put out a small short film that they made by themselves, then by all means boycott it. That's just my personal opinion. Would I run out and give money to somebody I knew was like a terrorist or some kind of a pedophile or something? Not necessarily, but would I watch it on cable or watch something else? I would try to support it for the people else that worked on it. But anyway, we're not saying that about him. We don't know one way or another. You can have your own judgment on Mr. Depp. I am still a fan of the actor. Don't even know anything about the man. That's not what I'm a fan of. So anyway, so this one came straight to video, or Blu-ray and DVD through Lionsgate. And would you like to tell everybody what it's about?
I do. So it's a story about a professor.
What's happening over here?
Elevators coming to lie down. And it's a professor who, can we say what happens?
Is the Mary Ann in here?
Yes.
It is. It is in the trailer. I mean, so.
Okay, it's a professor who finds out he has cancer, and he's like, screw it all, and then madness ensues. So that's basically what it's about.
Pretty much.
There you go. Get up there. Okay. Sorry. So it's actually pretty interesting, and I wonder how many people would deal with illness that way. And that's the interesting thing about this is you do get different viewpoints of how you would deal with an illness or a diagnosis of this sort. Like, what do you do? And everybody has their own way of dealing and coping. Well, I guess no way is wrong.
Is that your dad?
That is. I gotta go wipe off the messages.
Y'all have your own YouTube channel now?
We do. We have.
Did you just set up a YouTube channel trying to copy us?
No, I didn't.
you realized our massive success and you decided to pour out your church on it.
Exactly. Sorry.
I think it depends on how you take the news and how you are, because there's some people that go into things like that and they immediately can embrace it because they're like, I've lived a full life. I'm happy with what I've done. I'm going to enjoy the last days. Or they go into other stuff where they don't want to depress other people around them. Right. So they don't say anything about it. And they just, whatever happens, happens. And then there's other people that can't handle it. The people that might kill themselves or just go into a funk of depression and whatever the case is,
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we see all sorts of different viewpoints, and he goes a little cray cray, but you know how his friends deal with it, how family deals with it, how people at work and all that. So it's interesting. I liked the movie. I thought it was really good. I thought he was really good in it. Yeah. So
I did too. I think this is one of his better movies in a while.
Yeah.
This felt like the old Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't playing one of those over the top eccentric characters.
Yeah, it's just normal dude.
Yeah, it was a grounded. It reminded me of the days of movies like Blow and.
Is that your favorite Johnny Depp movie?
It's not my favorite, but I really like that movie. But movies like that where he just played a character and it was about his performance and it was about, you know, like the Libertarian and
I love that
Libertine,
movie.
not the Libertarian, the Libertine. It's all about him joining the Libertarian Party.
I loved that movie.
But Chocolat.
I like Chocolat.
Those movies were character type movies where he didn't have to play some flamboyant, over the top, super special effect, crazy character. He could just be this actor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always, prior to Pirates of the Caribbean movies, I always felt that he was one of the greatest character actors that we've had in years because he always embodied a character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know some actors will say, "Well, I don't want to be classified as a character actor; it's demeaning." But somebody to me that can be different. Christian Bale's kind of become that on some level. That he immerses himself in the characters and loses weight, gains weight, does whatever he knows to become that character. And Johnny Depp used to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And even with like Fantastic Beasts and Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, good or bad, he was kind of all in. I think the last Pirates movie, it kind of felt a little more phoned in because I think at that point, he'd been playing the character so long, he just knew how to do it and he just did it. The movie was just kind of you know. Yeah,
well, I think that's not his fault. That's the story.
Well, I think it's both, but I think it's a case of him. I know how to play this character. I just do it. Like for this one felt like a real person dealing with some crap, and he got to just kind of be Johnny Depp and be a character and be this and that. And I actually really, really liked it.
I did too. I thought it was really great. And my favorite person is this guy, Danny Houston, who plays like his best friend. I like him.
That guy's a great actor.
He's really good. He's always
Is he the brother of Angelica Houston?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he is. He's one of those people.
Because I know that whole Houston family.
There's a lot of.
They're all like there's directors and there's all kinds of people that were.
He's born in Italy. Yes, half sister Angelica Houston. There you go. Anywho, it's really good. If you find the movie, check it out. Obviously, it's available now on Blu-ray and DVD. So you
how
can
do you know
go
it's available now?
because it says Blu-ray.
But how do you know
and
it's available
I have
now?
it right now.
But we have stuff available all the time that's not available.
I don't know. Is it available now?
Yeah, it's been out for a couple of weeks.
There
I'm just
you go.
asking if you knew.
I know because it says so on our website.
Okay.
That's all
you
I
don't
got.
ever go to our website.
But I did right now to post a link to the review for The Professor starring Johnny Depp. Go check it out. It's really good.
It is good. I liked it a lot. And moving on.
There you go.
You want to hear about my movie?
Yes, what did you see?
I saw Critters Attack.
Oh my gosh. You and the Critters. You love
the latest chapter in the Critters franchise. Not long ago, they released the box set we have right up there. It's all 4 Critters movies.
Critters.
I believe it's 4 or 5. And this is the year of the Critters because
It is?
Yes, because not only do we have Critters Attack that is not only just hit Blu-ray and DVD here, it's also this movie's gonna also be hitting Sci-Fi, I think, later this year.
Oh.
As a Sci-Fi original film or some crap. But there was also a Critters web series or TV series or something that hit. So with the Critters franchise, if you've never watched it, first of all, shame on you.
You're okay.
You're missing out on fun and enjoyment and blood and gore. But the story is basically these little critters come to Earth.
Where are they? Are they not from here?
No, they're from. I just said they came to Earth. That kind of explains that they didn't come from Earth. What part of that description makes
Where are they from? Does that matter?
California.
Okay.
They come from space. And in the first films, there's these like space bounty hunters trying to track them down and get them. And as the franchise went along, it got a little silly. Like the first one, sure, it was silly, but it was trying to capitalize on the popularity of gremlins and ghoulies.
That's true.
They were all like trying to find their own little creatures.
Right.
And Critters was one that hit. And the first one, even though it was silly, it was still kind of dark. and kind of scary-ish and gory. But then as it went along, it got sillier and sillier and sillier.
Yeah.
So this new one, while it is silly and stuff, it kind of harkens back to the original film. It's a little darker. It's trying to be a little scarier. It's not, but it tries. Because none of them are scary.
Is it just fun at this point?
It is, but they did all practical effects. It's all puppet critters. The critters are bigger in this one. So I watched the behind the scenes feature. So when you look at it, the critters look like these little ball type things, right? When they're doing the puppets are like this big. And one of the actors like, yeah, I expected to come on the set with these little critters. And then he's like these 3-foot monsters. And they're actual puppeteers. And they do stuff where like all the critters will attach to one gigantic ball, like a ball of critters, and will roll at you.
That's so cool. Critter ball.
And they basically have like a homage to Aliens where they attack a guy and then they basically lay critter babies in it. So they burst out, and that's how they're manifesting. Awesome. But what they did in this one, they introduced a new kind of critter as well, which I don't want to spoil it for you in case you're going to watch it.
Well, if it's available later on Sci-Fi, we will watch it, so don't spoil.
Yes, so it's got a new kind of critter, but it's a silly movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. Dee Wallace used to be Dee Wallace Stone. She returns to the Critter franchise. She was in the original.
Who was the Stone she was with?
I don't know. She's not with them anymore. Hadn't been in them all. We'll say Oliver Stone. I don't know.
Was she in the other ones?
She was in the original.
Oh, that's cool.
And she returned to this one. I believe it was the original she was in.
1986. Wow. You go, girl.
What is?
Critters.
Oh, yeah. But she returns to this one, but this time it's more of a cameo, but she's kind of like a badass hunting.
This time it's personal.
I don't even know if she's playing the same character. I think she might be.
Is that her with the gun?
Yeah.
It's on the
But
box.
she's like a badass hunting the critters and stuff.
Nice.
You want me to read you the synopsis for this?
Oh, please do.
All right. It says the critters are back. Mysterious alien critters have crash landed in a small college town, devouring every living thing they encounter. Drea and the kids she's babysitting must try desperately to save themselves from the ravenous rolling beasts. Will Drea discover her inner badass, and will it be enough to stop the critter onslaught? I don't really get any of that in the movie.
Oh, well. Anyways, check out Critters if you're a fan, obviously.
If nothing else, it's also, like I said, it's got a really cool, some cool behind-the-scenes featurettes of them making the puppets, using the puppets, recreating the critter ball, which is a gigantic boulder type thing. Some really cool stuff. It was a blast. It's not... It's look at the
not
box.
An Academy Award-winning film.
This box tells you what you're getting. If you watch this movie and you complain, you deserve it. Because if you watch a movie called Critters Attack and you see the picture on the box and you go, well, that was stupid, look at the box. You're maroon. Anyway, if you like the other Critter movies, you'll love this one. Check it out. It is available now, Blu-ray, DVD. And this one will be going home to the critters as they look down upon us. I don't know how I'm going to do this because I got a big box set and I got this individual Blu-ray. How the hell am I going to do this?
I don't know.
Do I have to like tilt it next to it up there?
No.
Or is it have to go on the shelf?
Go put it on the shelf.
Does it not deserve to be on the up there with the other box set?
Well, I think the Scream box set deserves to be up there, but it's not.
Well, it's because it's a little tiny box set.
I guess so. Whatever. Moving on.
Okay, well then okay.
Movie.
Let's talk about that for a moment. If we're going to put the Scream box set up there, then you also have Scream 4 that is not in the box set. Then you have the Scream TV series season 1, season 2.
So that's why I think it goes on the shelf.
I'm not done
Put this on
talking.
the shelf.
Season 2 we don't own yet. So that means how do I put all those Screams and just scatter them across the world?
No, we're not. We're going to put them on the shelf. So you're going to put this on the shelf.
You're not going to tell me what to do.
Anyways,
I don't have enough space.
Next movie. Smile.
I was acting like the camera froze. You ruined it every time.
Next movie. What are we talking about now?
I'm so tired of you.
Okay.
All right. We're going to be talking about the big, really, I think the only real big movie that opened this weekend.
How could it be? But I guess it is. It's one of those weekends. And this is one of those sad weekends for us where we've seen every single movie in the theater, so there's nothing to go see. There was nothing to do this weekend.
Well, really wasn't. We really haven't seen everything.
There was one movie.
But some were like passed so far back.
Well, and there's one, you can only watch it like at 10 in the morning, and then it doesn't play again. Yesterday.
Yeah, but that movie's been out for a week.
I know, but like, for us to be able to see something fun and new.
Yeah, we have a review on our site from somebody else.
I know, but we didn't get to see it. That's what I'm saying. I'm just telling the people. There was nothing for us to do this weekend. We had to sit here like this. This is pretty much what happened all weekend. Not really.
Not for me. I was busy.
I was working.
You were lounging around like some kind of
what is this?
homeless person. This movie we didn't need to watch.
Okay, so we'll talk about the big one that came out at the theater, and I hope that you saw it and were not dismayed by the person who put the movie together, because some people don't like him.
Well, here's the thing: we're talking about Once Upon a Time in
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Oh, where's our poster?
Where is our poster?
I don't know. It was in here.
Did it get eaten?
It's gone. We've been robbed. Well, now I don't know where the poster is. It was in here somewhere.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Should I look for it?
No, don't worry about it.
Should I send out the hound?
Anyway, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the ninth film from Quentin Tarantino. Technically, depending on how you count his filmography, because anyway, we won't talk about that.
Controversy.
So there's a lot of issues because there's, again, like Johnny Depp, there's some people that just don't like Quentin Tarantino and his films and whatever. There's other people because of his. This is the first film. I don't know if you know this or not. This is the first film he did not make with the Weinsteins because of he cut ties with them after the big Me Too thing with Harvey. This is the first movie he didn't make under that. But then there's a lot of people that say that, of course, he knew about it.
Yeah,
and that stuff happened to Uma Thurman in this. Then there's a whole other controversy about. How he had put Uma Thurman in danger on the set of Death Proof during a stunt, and not Death Proof. Was it Death Proof? Which one was it? Which one was this?
It was that one. It wasn't the first. The other one.
What is this? Death Proof and what?
The other one was the big long one. Whatchamacallit?
I think it is Death Proof.
Okay. Because
it was Death Proof and I forgot. Anyway, I just went blank. And no one's commenting today, which means nobody's paying attention. Anyway, apparently he put her in danger in a stunt.
Not Kill Bill.
No, not Kill Bill. It was the one where there was the Grindhouse movie.
Oh, yeah.
Planet Terror and Death Proof. So it was Death Proof.
Death Proof.
So it was supposedly during that car sequence. That's why they stopped kind of working together, apparently. Because for a while, they did a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
And they stopped. So anyway, who knows? But during interviews, he has now said that him and Uma have been talking about Kill Bill 3 finally.
Oh.
Because there was talk when Kill Bill 1 and 2 came out of doing a story with a little girl of Vivica Fox's little kid that watches him fight, of her growing up and going to get revenge.
Which that makes total sense. Are you okay?
That stupid bottle gets knocked over every time somebody walks in here because you need to put it away.
Okay, that's okay, Vader. You didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong.
You're fine.
Anyway, his latest film, when he announced it, he said it's going to be focusing, or he said it's going to be attached to the Manson murders. And now there's some people open arms about his attachment, what he did with the Manson murder story, this and that, blah, blah, blah. There's been so many movies and TV shows and things that have focused on the Manson murders that I don't think it's really a relevant argument anymore, unless you're going to argue about every single one of them. If you're somebody that has a problem with anybody making anything about it, in my opinion, totally valid. But you have to be mad about all of them.
Yeah.
Not just because you don't like him. You have to be mad at the Helter Skelter movie that was made, any TV movie, anytime.
Unless it's a documentary.
Well, yeah, but even then, because if you're making a film about it and your issue is respecting of the families, then that's the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a David Duchovny Aquarius. That show was focused on the Manson murders and stuff too. So you have to have a problem with all of it, in my opinion, if you're going to be complaining about this. Anyway, that being said, this movie is barely about that. The Manson, Tate LaBianca, whatever murderers they are. I know Tate. I never can remember the second half. It's a catalyst for the story, but that's not what this movie's about. This movie's about Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio's character and homage to both 60s Hollywood, old Hollywood, and kind of the end of it, because it kind of ended in 68, 69-ish, and 69. And then also, I also felt it was a very much a homage to Tarantino's own filmography, because it had a little bit of everything he's done since then. So you were kind of on the fence with this movie.
It just looked weird, man.
Because every time we saw the trailer, you're like, I don't understand this trailer.
At the very beginning, when you see the first trailer, you have no idea what it's really about. I mean, it gives you no context. It's just like...
See, and to me, I instantly understood what it was about from the trailer.
You did?
Yeah, because it just
looked like... The very first trailer where you did see the other guy.
Yeah, because it looked like... Because you saw both people. You saw Brad Pitt and DiCaprio in the trailer.
That's all you saw.
But it was clearly about an actor, because they said the first line of the trailer is, this is an actor, and this is my stuntman. And then it looked like it was going to be about their Hollywood life.
Okay. Well,
And then you knew Manson was there because you saw Sharon Tate, and they said it in the commercial.
Well, I didn't get that because I don't know these things. So I guess I'm dumb for not knowing American history.
You're not dumb.
But also because unlike this person, I didn't watch Crime and Investigation Network nonstop for years.
Okay, you don't have to watch Crime and Investigation nonstop for years to not.
Sorry, I wasn't intimately aware of all the victims of Charles Manson. Sorry.
No, you don't have to be aware of all the victims of Charles Manson.
I don't follow murder.
That is such like one of the biggest murders.
That was in the 60s, though, right?
I'm aware of that, but every year Manson was up for parole, so it was all over the news. So then they
I knew he was a crazy guy with the thing on his head.
I know, but every time that came up, then all the stories about that would get rehashed all the time.
I didn't watch that, so I'm sorry. I don't know how many people they killed.
It was like 7.
There you go.
And that was in 2 different places at the same night. Because in the original murders, and I could be off, so don't yell at me. I believe it was Tate, and then I think 3 or 4 people in that house. Mm-hmm. The heir to the Folgers.
6 people was the Tate murders.
Yeah. Okay. So it was her, and then the hairdresser ex-boyfriend of hers, and then there was the Folgers heiress,
the Folgers lady,
and then of course she was pregnant. Tate was pregnant.
Yeah. And then the Folgers guy. Yeah. Her boyfriend.
And then you go to the other place, and then they had another house, and I think it was another couple over there. So it was like 6 or 7 people total.
Oh, they killed him too?
No, he was not there. He was out of town.
Oh, that's
he
right.
Was married
it was
to
the other one. But I thought she was married to the other girl.
No, she was married to, she was dating the other guy, Sebring. And they were still friends, but then she left him and married Roman Polanski. That's why they talk about in the movie at the one point.
It's all confusing.
That was just a life at the time.
It's free love.
But they remained in like a weird situation.
Triangle.
And I read too at one point that Quincy Jones was supposed to be here too.
Oh.
And then ended up not going for whatever reason. So,
anyhow, sorry.
Anyway,
I'm not intimately aware with.
You don't need to know the entire story of Charles Manson and the Tate murders to watch this movie, because, like I said, it is kind of a secondary aspect catalyst to the whole film. It is not history. It is not the life story of this situation.
It's a movie.
It's very much like Inglourious Basterds, where it's a new take of history. It's very much like watching a What If. Mm-hmm. So if you've seen Inglourious Basterds, it's what if, what happened at the end. This one's what if, whatever happens at the end of this movie.
Yeah, pretty
much. So what did you, forgetting that part of it then, what did you think about the movie?
Anyways, yeah, so I had no real interest in seeing the movie. I was like, whatever. I end up kind of liking most of his movies most of the time.
Yeah, which you still haven't watched Inglourious Basterds.
So I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. I actually really enjoyed the film. I thought it was different. It's a little bit quirky, but I like it. And I like that we're exploring a new story, which is fun, but it brings in characters that you probably have heard of or you know.
Well, because it's an amalgam of
some old Hollywood.
Some of the characters in the movie are real people.
Yeah.
Like when the show Lancer they're working on at Western, those are all real actors from the real show.
That's cool.
Like Timothy Olyphant is playing an actor that's a real actor.
Mm. And obviously
Luke Perry's character is an actor that's a real actor. Sharon Tate was real.
And you see in the trailer, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, Bruce Lee played by Mike Moe.
Which he looked really good.
Yeah, he was
really
good.
Looked like it.
I was watching an interview with them, and they said that he had auditioned, and then I think he said he had left. He didn't know what he was auditioning for. He just auditioned, and then he left and went back home. He ran a martial arts studio somewhere. He went back home, got the phone call, so then he flew back, but he still didn't know that he got the part. So he came back in. And Tarantino said that I think it was Brad Pitt telling the story, but then he walked in, and when he walks in the room, all of a sudden you have DiCaprio's there, and then Brad Pitt shows up, and then Margot Robbie shows up, and Tarantino's there, and that's when he realizes, holy crap, I'm in this movie.
Wow.
So it wasn't a case of that I got the part, I'm going in. He showed up thinking he was still
having to do another
still audition, whatever, and he was in it.
That's so cool. So I liked all of it. I love Brad Pitt, by the way.
Did you know?
Still love Brad
and I
Pitt.
saved this for the show.
What?
Did you know? And it's not official, but there's okay. So when we saw this at Alamo for our screening, and I've seen other people posting it now too that know him. There's a stuntman, a retired stuntman, who is a friend of mine named Gary Kent.
Yeah, so
right.
funny.
I met him at a convention years ago. We've become friends. We talk periodically via Facebook and on the phone and whatnot. We even we talked about it on the show before. We did a live Q&A / stunt at a
Oh,
convention.
that was so fun. He's such a nice man.
We busted a bottle over my head, whatever. So while we're at Alamo, before the movie, if you've ever been to Alamo, they show funky trailers and commercials and vignettes and all kinds of weird things. And they had 3 different ones that were Gary talking about filming stuff.
Yeah, about being a stuntman in old Hollywood.
Well, the reason that was on there, and I kind of knew about this, but I didn't know for sure until they showed those. There's basically rumors, and you can find it on some of Wikipedia, Gary's Wikipedia and stuff, that Brad Pitt's character is loosely based on some of Gary's experiences.
Cool. That's so fun.
I don't know if it was a case of them calling Gary and saying that, but because Gary shot a lot of stuff on the Spa Ranch where the Mansons lived. And he told a story in that thing.
Yeah, he did tell a story.
So a lot of that stuff came from them shooting there.
Yeah.
So
that's so funny.
That was kind of a fun twist on it.
Good for him. And that was so fun to see him. We're like, I know him.
Yeah. People were looking at us and we were like, we do. I know. He's my friend.
We know him. He's a nice man.
But yeah, I agree. Brad Pitt is awesome in this movie.
He's so good. And I think he has stopped aging. He's got to the point where he looks like an older man now, but he's stopped right there.
Well, and he's kind of like the epitome of like just cool and laid back.
He is so cool, man. He seems like the coolest dude ever.
You believe that he's like a stuntman in Hollywood at that point.
Yeah, totally. You know? He's so rugged.
And I thought DiCaprio was excellent. But I think DiCaprio was amazing in everything.
Yeah.
But he did really good at playing the kind of the guy you could believe that he was a superstar in Hollywood for his looks, and now he's on the kind of that falling. So he had to deal with more emotion of.
I love him. I think he's so good. I think he just gets better every time. He is one of those people though that totally transforms to be the character that he needs to be.
Well, he seems to be all in. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one that walks like Daniel Day-Lewis that walks around on set as
the
character. I don't know if he does, but. Because I know, like, there's a popular story of Daniel Day-Lewis when he played Lincoln, that he lived as Lincoln.
Which is weird. But,
and there's like sitting there with Lincoln on his cell phone.
Well, just know you get to see a lot of Brad Pitt. So you want to watch it just for that.
I thought Margot Robbie was excellent as Sharon Tate.
She's another one.
She has very little dialogue.
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about seeing somebody who is kind of becoming a celebrity. She's already kind of known, but not. And becoming popular and enjoying seeing people experience her and seeing herself on because there's one scene of her watching The Wrecking Crew that stars her and Dean Martin, which was kind of one of her biggest movies that she's known for.
Yep.
And her going in there and watching the film, but she's watching the other people react to her. And then she has a fight scene that, Bruce Lee taught her. Kind of, I don't know if he actually did, but in this movie, then it cuts to her doing the scene, and people are, oh yeah, and she's all like, yeah. It's kind of fun to see that because I can imagine somebody seeing one of their films for the first time, being like, what were you saying? I'm sorry, she was another one. What?
She's another one that never looks the same to me. Like I never.
And you used to hate her, didn't you?
I don't hate her. What I don't like is that she's got these big man hands.
Oh, man hands.
And now I know she's got big old feet too, which I don't want to know.
She's Australian.
But she never looks the same in a movie, which I appreciate about her.
And you still never sat and watched The Wolf of Wall Street, did you?
I did not.
Because that's got her and DiCaprio as well. That's the movie that kind of made her big.
Okay.
You should sit and watch it. It's a great movie.
I'll watch it.
It's got Jonah Hill too.
I like Jonah Hill.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, I thought it was really good. I loved everybody in it.
It's got a lot of most all of the familiar Tarantino people that show up. Mm-hmm. Samuel L. Jackson didn't show up, which he was due to. And did you know that Bruce Stern, who plays the guy Spa, whatever his name is, that owns the ranch, because he's playing the actual guy.
Yeah.
That he's in the bed when he goes and sees him.
Yeah.
Did you know that it was originally cast? It was Burt Reynolds.
Oh.
It was before he died, and then Burt Reynolds died, and they had to recast him. So.
Well, and the other thing about this is
this is Luke Perry's final film.
Perry. Oh, and when I'm like, oh, Luke Perry.
Somebody posted a marquee in Hollywood, or in L.A. or whatever, from the film, and one of them was Luke Perry, and somebody posted, I was like, oh, they said something like, oh, it was nice. Look, Luke Perry's still looking down on us. It's like we don't deserve him, kind of thing.
He seems like a nice guy. Anyways, the other thing that I feel like if you watch movies at all, you're gonna see so many like people's faces or characters like come in and out, and you're like, whoa.
Well, there's a Party at the Playboy Mansion, which is the best because it's showing like what's his name, Lewis, Damian Lewis, I think is his name. He plays Steve McQueen. He's from my show Billions.
Yeah.
And he used to also be in Homeland. And when I saw him, I'm like, he's supposed to be Steve McQueen? He didn't look like Steve McQueen. And then there's moments where he's like tilted over and he's kind of squinting his eyes. And I'm like, holy crap, he does look like Steve McQueen.
I mean, like, I didn't realize she was there. Like,
you didn't see her?
I think I did, but I didn't realize. Hey, Vader.
Vader, stop.
It's okay.
Vader, come here.
Because you don't expect to see these people. And then when you do, you're like, huh? Because they've got them, like, so, like, in the time period and the clothing. And
some of you, by the time you realize who it is, they're gone.
And I was happy to see her.
Oh, Zoe, yeah.
Zoe Bell.
Zoe's always.
And then this threw me because that did not look at all.
Oh, really? You didn't realize that was?
I did.
I didn't know that she was in it.
But you see it in the credits. You know, in the trailers, Dakota Fanning's in it. But I didn't. She just didn't look like Dakota Fanning. But I think now because she's older,
a squeaky from,
and she's filling out a little bit more everywhere. So she, you know, I was like not expecting that. And I think Timothy Oliphant looks really good now. So whatever's happened with him.
Well, he's. What do you mean now? What happened to him before?
Because there was a little bit of time where you had that weird. His face looked really like old and scrunchy, and he had bad haircut.
I don't think we're talking about the same person. I think you might be mixing.
You know, Timothy Oliphant has that real wrinkly head.
Because he was on Justified for you. I watched it.
He looks better.
Did you even notice that Kevin Smith's daughter was there?
I did. Especially since you told me.
Well, it's fun because she didn't have any dialogue, I don't believe. She plays one of the Manson girls. And what's funny about that, or not funny, but kind of cool, is she made the first trailer. She's on the poster, right? And so she's been posting stuff excited about it, but Kevin Smith's been posting stuff even more excited about it.
Oh, that's
and she did on the red carpet premiere, she's doing an interview. And Kevin Smith posted the video of the interview, and he's like trying to stay out of her interview. And he's in the back.
Oh,
but as he's trying to stay out of her shot, he's more and more in her shot in the back, trying to not talk to somebody else, but act like he's like trying to just stand back there and be proud dad.
Oh.
But he's like super stoked because his daughter's in a Tarantino movie.
He wouldn't be. And then you know who else I really liked was the little girl from
American Housewife.
She's such a sweet little girl.
See, and there was people talking about that scene because she plays this little girl in Lancer, and she gets knocked down at one point in the scene because DiCaprio's character gets a little overexcited about doing the way he does the scene and knocks her down. And she talks about, oh, she's fine. He asked her if she's okay. But I was reading a review, and it's one of those things that this is one of those prime example movies that you see people who, if they have a personal hatred or a personal agenda against somebody in the movie, they turn everything about the movie into something else.
Yeah.
You know, now I know you thought it was a little too much, and I don't really necessarily like it either. But anybody that's seen a Quentin Tarantino movie knows that there's a little bit of a foot fetish thing happening. And I don't know if he's ever talked about it, but it's obviously on film. So whether or not he has a real foot fetish or it's a film foot fetish, he always puts feet prominent, right?
It's not okay.
And because there's so many hippies in this movie, there's a lot of feet in this movie.
My problem is they were all dirty feet.
Because they're running around barefooted everywhere.
And they're all big feet.
I don't even know if they're that big.
I don't like big, gangly, long toes. I'm sorry, ladies. I know most people have bigger feet than me. I don't like big feet with long toes. It creeps me out. I don't. And everybody's feet come up and they're all dirty. And I'm like,
it's because they're all hippies and they're
like, wash your feet.
They're coming off that ranch and stuff. So
that's not okay.
But anyway, that's not even what I was getting at.
Not okay.
Is I'm reading some of the reviews
just
of people
FYI.
Talking about it, and it's like all they're doing is talking about that scene with the little girl that's talking about. It's like showing, oh, this is just talking about how it was okay to abuse a child and this and that. When in the scene he apologized to her and says, "I apologize. I got a little carried away with the scene," and the girl's like, "Don't worry, it's okay. I wore my elbow pads because I was prepared for my job," is basically what she says.
Basically.
And the guy that wrote the review said, oh, he's basically saying it's okay, and that she had to be prepared because she had to accept it because of the time.
Whatever.
And I'm like, okay, even if Tarantino's writing this and saying,
let's throw this little girl on the ground.
Yeah, I don't see that. And maybe it's a jaded mentality that I'm not looking for the bad in everybody. But it's like, I've talked to people about this movie that hated it. I've talked to people about it who won't refuse to see it for their whatever reason they have, and that's their business. But to watch something and just look for something that you decide is bad, right? Especially like he got a lot of hate for Django Unchained for the use of the N-word. And
what
people were like, how dare you
slave
use the N-word all this time? It's like, yeah, but what do you think people said at that time period?
Yeah.
What do you think black people were referred to at that time? Is it okay? Of course it's not okay.
Nope.
But that's what was said. And there's a few moments like this in this one where they're talking about, let's make some Mexican jokes.
There are lots of Mexican jokes. Just be prepared.
Yeah, he's like, don't let the Mexicans see it.
It's also the 60s. And totally at that point, Mexicans were just there to be servers and to clean. Okay.
Yeah, and I love this movie.
I didn't think those parts were funny.
Which parts?
The Mexican jokes.
Oh, they're not funny. You laugh, like there were people that laughed.
Like,
and sometimes like I laughed like, oh my God.
I'm just
but
like,
it's because
well, I accept it. I'm just like,
it's that time period. Like, and that's the thing, is like it kind of pivoting into something else, but like there was a big argument about Stranger Things this season.
Yeah.
And about all the smoking in it. And about
it's the 80s, right?
People were like about the kids smoke, or I don't remember if it was a kid smoking or this one guy smoking, or them smoking at a restaurant or a doctor's office. I don't know what it was.
Smoking in the
But people were throwing a fit about the smoking in the show, and we're like, this is the 80s. People smoked everywhere. Like you'd be talking to your doctor, and he'd have a cigarette dangling out of his mouth while he's fixing you.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, was it good? No.
No, but it happened.
But it was. But anyway.
Oh wow.
I will have to say,
digress.
I'm going to make the public announcement right here.
Yes.
This is yet another one of my favorite films this year.
This is going to the top of the list.
I don't know if it's the top, but it is up there. Like Quentin Tarantino has not made a movie that I have not liked. I love all of them. There are elements of some that may be slower for me than other ones. I think this one is up at the top of them because it felt like a new Tarantino to me. Like you get all the Tarantino elements to it, but it still had kind of a new thing to it. And I think the element of the way they dealt with the Manson stuff, which to me felt not insulting to the families and the history. To me, it felt more like justifiable to what the story they're telling and the way they did it. Whether you agree with it or not, I can't explain my thought because I'd have to tell you the ending, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But to me, I looked at it, it's the same way I looked at Inglourious Bastards. I didn't hear anybody complaining about the end of Inglourious Bastards. If they did, I didn't hear it because they were like, hell yeah. Like that to me, that was kind of the same thing. And there's some people that complain about Tarantino of him being, this pompous, conceited mentality of his own vision of the world and his own vision of cinema and this and that. He's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he has every right to be that way.
I think you would agree with that. I mean, he doesn't care because he's making a movie that he wants to make.
Yeah, if I was making if I'm working on one of my comics,
you don't like it, make your own movie.
I'm writing my comic for me.
There we go. Someone thinks it's his best film. Thank you for commenting.
Yes, I'm writing my comic, my story for me and what I believe. If it's anything beyond that, that doesn't matter to me. Like if you don't like it, don't read it. Yeah. Right.
I totally liked it. The only thing I didn't like was the feet. There you go. I will warn people, you should know this by now with his films, there is some blood and guts, which I loved. But this one was actually, it was really intense. It takes this whole left turn out of nowhere, but it's not until really the end. No, like the rest of a little bit in the middle. Not really. Yeah, with that one thing. Not really. Okay. Yeah, but at the end, the end it gets pretty intense, but before that, it's a heavy dialogue Tarantino movie, and I love the movie. I'm actually gonna probably go see it again. What? Yes. Would you pay to see it again? I would pay to see it probably 2 or 3 more times. Wow. But I probably can't because it's almost 3 hours long. Yeah, it didn't feel long. Like that. It didn't feel long at all, except for probably the drunk people next to us. They could not get out of there fast enough. Well, we'll talk about them in a minute. Lord have mercy. Anywho. So anyway, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which the story, I was trying to figure out how the story was playing into it. And then once you realize it is a fairy tale. It's a Hollywood fairy tale. It is. So it fits the narrative of the title. But it's very interesting, though, historical wise, like when you see the interviews with like Gary Kent at the beginning, or other people, there was some other guy, I'm trying to remember who it was. It's a well-known actor. He's an older man now. But he was saying, yeah, we would take those ranch rides through the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
And yeah, we totally saw Charlie, but they didn't connect.
Well, yeah, Gary was talking about, and it's in his book.
So many people knew who he was, that they were out there in the ranch, that they would do these horse rides. And this guy was talking about, I was a kid, me and my brother would ride our horses through the Hollywood Hills, and we saw him and we would wave hi.
Yeah,
because no one at the time knew that he was a crazy person.
He hadn't done anything at the time. He was
collecting his followers, I guess, at that
point.
Well,
they were living on the ranch. It was late in the guy's career. They weren't using that studio as much anymore. Hold on, I'm looking for the name of the book.
It's so interesting. It's just bizarre how many people knew.
They were running the ranch. They were living there for free, and Spa let them live there because in exchange for the labor. So they were taking care of the ranch. They were leading the tours.
Taking care of the horses.
And the prominent money that he made now was not from films anymore. It was from the horse tours through the hills and whatnot. And so all that was accurate to what was going on. Mm-hmm. And like Gary told me, and it's in his book, it's called Shadows and Light, which is it's available now. It's his life story as a stuntman. And in his book, he talks about their interactions with Charles Manson while filming a movie, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think they talked about in that thing, one of the guys actually kind of got into it. That's not it.
It's the other one. There's one more. Hold on. It's this one. The ranch looking one.
It's that one.
Yeah. I'm going to post a link to the book.
Okay, cool.
He's such a nice guy, y'all.
Yeah, it is a great book. If you love
nice
movies at all, it doesn't matter if you know Gary or not. Gary's a great, great guy. We love his movie, The Forest. It's a kind of a silly slash movie. Nothing's happening. You're talking down there. But he talks about it in the book of I believe it's in the book. We're talking about dealing with Manson and one of the other. I don't remember if it was a director or another stuntman that kind of got into a fight and knife pulled on him.
Yeah.
Dealing with Charles Manson and so whatever. So, yeah.
Anyhow, it's just interesting how many people really did interact. Will it not let me post?
Is it too long?
I don't think so.
What are you doing?
I was trying to post a link to the book, but it's not letting me. That's okay.
We'll get it posted in a little bit.
Oh, it is too long. My bad. Can't happen. I'll post it later.
We'll get you a link.
I'll post it over here.
It should have like a little link button up there instead. Anyway.
Okay, sorry.
The other thing I was reading too that you might have heard, but they were talking about Brad Pitt's character was loosely, but also based on Tom Laughlin from Billy Jack.
Oh, cool.
And there was a thing with Quentin Tarantino had asked Brad Pitt to come over because he wanted to show him, because he always shows the films, different films, people, because like that was a cool thing in Alamo. I don't know if you were really paying attention, but they were showing all the movies that inspired this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so did you see like the one guy that was dancing in the thing and
yes,
that's actually a recreation? Yes. But they were saying that Tarantino had said that he had asked Pitt to come over to watch a film that was kind of to give him an idea of how he wanted him to play that character. And then Brad Pitt showed up at his house and brought a film that he said, I have an idea of what this is. And Brad Pitt had brought a copy of Billy Jack. Mm-hmm. And Quentin Tarantino had a 35 millimeter of Billy Jack loaded on his projector. So that was going to be the movie they both were going to show.
That's so cool.
So the other cool thing about this movie.
And you love Billy Jack, this guy right here.
The original Billy Jack. And we'll talk about it one day on my show, but not so much Born Losers, Trial of Billy Jack, and Billy Jack Goes to Washington.
You're so funny that you know all this.
But Born Losers does in fact feature Gary Kent.
There you go. It all comes full circle, people.
The other cool thing that we saw about this movie, or do you have anything else about the movie itself? I'm sorry.
No, I like the movie. You should watch it.
So we got to go to Alamo, and I don't know if it's standard or if it was just for our screening. We got to see it in 35 millimeter.
Yeah, I don't think that's the standard thing. I think it's a special thing.
I couldn't hear them, so I'm going to let her tell you what they told us when we got there.
The guy came out. I don't know who he was with. He might have been with the studio.
She was just with probably that or with Alamo itself.
Who knows? So we got to see a special screening of the film in 35 millimeter, which is the actual reel-to-reel. So if you remember, they used to shoot on these big old camera things that had film in it. Okay, so that's what we were watching. Because now it's shot digitally and it's saved on a computer.
What's a computer?
A computer, right here. So the guy was saying it was 9 rolls of film, which, you know, rolls like this big. He said they set up the reel-to-reel projectors. They had 2 different projectors, so they'd have to change the 9 films throughout. So please be patient. He's like, we think we got it. It's going to be okay.
And you'd see the old school like little X's that flash the screen to tell them to get ready for the next projector.
Yeah, so they'd have I don't know how they did it where they're like boom, next projector up. And
well, I'm assuming they're probably both sitting there when that thing comes like you probably hit the other one and then it just
starts rolling. I mean, it's amazing because he said they had to change the film because they had 9 reels of film but only 2 projectors, so they were going to have to be changing the reels out. And I was like, whoa. That's awesome.
And it was seamless. It may have maybe one slight jump, but not the way that affected the movie.
Well, and I like seeing films like that with a little bit of grainies, and I like that.
That was just like this is the second film like that. We got to see The Hateful Eight in 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
For when Quentin Tarantino did the Hateful Eight Roadshow kind of thing. So it was cool to see it old Hollywood movie in an old Hollywood style. Which, if you can find it, see it like that. I don't know. I don't think it'd be that much of a difference.
No, you'd have to look up the showings.
Some of the Alamo Draft.
Some of the local Alamos have them. Not all the showings are 35 millimeter. It looks like they have 1 a night.
Oh,
because it's a lot of work. I think, for them.
And it's like almost 3 hours long. So
yeah.
So does it say the exact time limit on that? How long would it be?
2 hours and 45 minutes.
So it's almost 3 hours.
It didn't drag or anything. I mean, it kept a good pace, so it doesn't feel long.
But anyway, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is in theaters now. We loved it in it.
Except for the feet.
Except she didn't like the feet. If you don't like Quentin Tarantino movies, you will hate this movie.
You will.
If you like old Hollywood, if you like Quentin Tarantino, if you like just good movies
Leonardo DiCaprio, or if you like seeing Brad Pitt without a shirt on.
Why is it okay for you to say that? But if I'm running around saying, I want to see Salma Hayek with her shirt off.
We were in the movie, and he takes off her shirt like, Brad Pitt looks good. And this guy's like, girly.
I was like, that's inappropriate. Here's my thing.
How old is Brad Pitt now? But he looks
50, he's 50 at least.
Good, girl.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this for a second. So we have this whole Me Too movement discussion, right? Going on.
Oh, sorry, Me Too, Brad Pitt.
No. I get it. But
hashtag Me Too.
I don't personally have an issue with somebody saying somebody's hot or you looking at somebody or whatever. But my whole thing is like, that's one of those double-edged, go back up, you just passed it.
1963. Woo.
That means he's 85 years old.
He's 56.
He's almost 60?
Good.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? He's looking good.
But that's one of those issues we've discussed that men obviously are not in the same issue with the females.
I know, and that is wrong. I'm sorry.
It's a whole thing is if a woman says something about a man,
it was sexualizing Brad Pitt.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just making the statement is if a woman says that same kind of thing about a man, it's looked at as But if I had said it about somebody like Margot Robbie, then people are like, it's a double-edged thing. It's also like if I slept with tons of people, high five. If you did it, you're a slut.
And it's not right.
It's not accurate. There's got to be a balance there, and for people to say men don't have to do anything differently because the way today is now is not true. But it's also not true that women should have to be treated that way either. So we got to find that balance. But that's a whole other discussion that we're not going to solve here.
We cannot solve it in one hour show.
But we can do it in 2 hour shows. So be here for next week. Oh no. So moving on.
All right.
Well, do you want to talk about our theater experiences, and then I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the Chuck Norris scandal.
Oh no! There's a scandal. No. Okay, well, tell me.
You want to talk about the Chuck Norris scandal first?
Yes.
Okay, so I have been trying to get a copy.
Oh. I was like, there's a scandal?
Not a real scandal. So, okay. So, since I started my Martial Arts Monday show.
Watch us on YouTube.
It's been giving me a chance to fill out some of the collection that I've meant to, but I haven't, or realized I was missing something I didn't realize I was missing because I had it on VHS, but I now don't have it. So I was going through them. I came across my Missing in Action collection, which is the Chuck Norris Braddock series of Vietnam. And I have number 1, and I have number 3. Number 1 I bought some years ago, and then I got number 3 through Shout Factory.
Shout!
When they released a collector's edition, but I didn't have part 2. So I was placing an order through them. I found that they had Missing in Action 2, The Beginning, in case you didn't realize that.
I didn't realize
it is the prequel to the first film.
What do I know?
Missing in Action 2, The Beginning. They had it for like $8, right? I'm like, done deal. So I ordered Missing in Action 2, as well as my favorite Chuck Norris film, which you'll find out later.
Which is my favorite one?
Chuck Norris movie?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Chuck Norris movie?
It's the one where, Octagon. Octagon.
When have you seen the Octagon?
It's when they're fighting in that little round thing where he has to jump the...
It's not round, it's an octagon.
Well, whatever. That's one of my favorite ones.
The one where he's whispering through the whole movie?
I guess so, but whatever.
That's the one that's got the... That's one with... Did you say, is there a horse in it?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a horse in it. There's a horse in most movies.
Okay.
That's the one with the ninjas.
Yes. The Octagon.
Yeah, I've never even seen that movie.
I have seen it, and that's my favorite.
Maybe I'll have you on my martial arts show to talk about that one.
Thank you.
So anyway, what do you think my favorite Chuck Norris movie is then?
Probably this series that you're trying to complete.
That is not this series.
Sidekicks.
Moving on. Although you knew that was filmed in Dallas, right?
Was it?
Yes, I was going to be in that karate tournament that they were going to shoot. I was supposed to be. I also am in an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger, but my scene got cut off. Anyway.
What is your favorite Chuck Norris movie?
Now you'll never know.
I guess I have to watch Martial Arts Mondays.
I guess you will.
All right.
But you have to wait till we get to that one to find out.
Dang
So anyway, okay, so what happened was, so I placed an order for a bunch of stuff, right? And part of the thing was Missing Action 2. I was very excited. I was going to finally get the collection completed. Then it was be ready for when I decided to do this part of the trilogy on the Martial Arts Monday. Mm-hmm. So what happens is I get this 3-pack, right? Which in most cases people will be excited for a 3-pack. Hey, I got 3 movies instead of 1. Now this 3-pack does include Missing in Action and Missing in Action 2. But does not include Missing in Action 3. It includes the Delta Force, which given are all 3 Chuck Norris movies. I own Delta Force, and I own Missing in Action. I wanted this one, right? Now, that seems silly because you're like, well, why not keep this one? Because get rid of these 2, and then you have these 2 together. But that means the Delta Force has got to be thrown over with the Missing in Action movies. That doesn't make logical sense to anyone in the world.
Okay, what you need to also understand, parentheses here, this man is crazy about the order in which his movies are on the shelf. DVDs and Blu-rays cannot go together because the boxes are that much different.
They are very different than that, ma'am.
Whatever. So they can't be in the same shelf together. Okay? And then Disney movies are separate from the other movies.
You wanted that.
And then nothing is completely in alphabetical order. We have Alpha Action, Alpha Drama, Alpha Comedy, Alpha Chuck Norris.
No, Chuck Norris is in martial arts.
But I'm just saying everything is split into categories. Instead of just having one big alphabetical list, it's by category and by alphabet. But when I ask, hey, can I put dividers to say this is comedy? This is he's like, no, we don't need that. Yes, we do. I can't find anything.
I know where everything is.
Oh,
name a movie and I'll point to it. Name something.
I'm looking for Creed and Creed 2.
My daughter has them.
Well, there you go. But are they by Rocky or are they in C by Creed?
Now, that is a dilemma because they are their own films, but they are part of the Rocky franchise.
I think they need to be with Rocky.
So, if I'm not mistaken, before she borrowed them, I did, in fact, have them with Rocky. But there was a situation at one point where I could not find the Rocky movies because we recently transferred them from 5 Rocky DVDs to 1 Rocky Blu-ray set.
Which is pretty cool.
And I was looking and realized I was staring at the Rocky set the entire time, but it was this big until I finally found it. Anyway, so moving on. So thus my dilemma. So I asked the wife, how does the stupid Amazon work? Because Amazon, I don't do this. Right?
I returned it.
So she goes, what you're going to have to do is, that's how she talks when she tries to get snooty with me. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to return this one and then buy the other one again. And then they'll refund you the money. I'm like, well, this is stupid. So I'm like, fine. So I returned it. I've returned it. And I ordered another. And what do you think arrived? This one that's in my hand arrived again.
And I told them, obviously, their barcodes are wrong.
So, and that is accurate because if you look at said barcode, it says Missing in Action to the beginning. It doesn't say own the moments. I don't need to own the moments on my Chuck Norris movies.
You need to send them a message.
So I decided I'm going to, instead of just a return and a refund, I'm going to do an exchange and put a note into them. So what I did was I put the exchange. I went in there. I typed in the information. Hey, please don't send me this. I want this. This is incorrect. Please send me the correct thing. Right? So did the refund. It says you have a certain amount of time to return this, whatever. Then I went into a separate deal where you could just send a private message to the thing based on your account. And I wrote it again. Hey, you keep sending me this 3-pack.
Barcode's wrong.
I need this. Your barcode's wrong. Right? So then I wait. And I wait. Next day, this arrives. So now I have received this 3-pack 3 times with the same barcode. So it's clearly they're all in. I own every copy of Missing in Action 1, 2, and Delta Force. And they say, "Oh, who's putting this together? Hey, let's put together the Missing in Action trilogy. Get rid of 3. Let's throw in Delta Force. There's a Delta Force 2. Why would you put in Delta Force 1 and 1 and 2 of Missing in Action and throw out Delta Force 2 and Missing in Action 3? Neither one of them are great films, but they're part of the stories. How about put a 2-pack and a 3-pack? Anyway, so what happened was I got fed up. So I called Amazon.
Which, by the way, you don't call Amazon, baby.
Oh,
I
did.
Online.
Well, you go online, you found their number.
This is hard. I don't even know how you did that.
Because
I've never
was not tolerating no nonsense about this any longer.
Okay.
Because I was afraid if I ordered it again, I would get another copy. Or they would say, sorry, someone bought all the copies. That would be me, apparently. So I got on there and it says, you want to call them? I'm like, sure. So I'm looking for the number and it says, type in your phone number and we'll call you. I'm like, okay, I know what this is. This is some bullshit. They're going to no, we'll forget to call the guy. Let's send him another copy of this again. Next time it'll probably be like The Octagon, Silent Rage, and Breaker Breaker.
I like Breaker Breaker.
I do too.
Okay.
Anyway, those are all Chuck Norris movies. You see how I popped them out?
Yes, I know.
Anyway, moving on. So I get a hold of it, or I type my number in. Literally less than a minute, my phone rings. We'll connect you with someone. Thank you for calling Amazon. I'm like, I didn't call you, but okay. Thank you for calling Amazon. I'm going to help you.
Was he Indian?
And his head
was it a call center?
Yeah, something. So anyway, so I explained to him the situation. He goes, this is horrible. I said, no shit. Sorry for my language.
Did you say that to him?
I did. I was so aggravated. And
it's
so
not his fault.
I know. So I explained it to him. And he goes, so how many copies do you have? I said, all of them. He goes, no, well, I said, no, I have 2. There's another one on its way back to you, blah, 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 blah. So back and forth, holding, I need to go find out. He goes, we're going to have to research and figure out what's going on. We're doing an investigation. I said, well, let me help you with your investigation. The barcode's wrong. It says this on here. I said, look at the picture on the screen. He goes, yes. I said, that is not the picture of what you sent me. That's one movie. You sent me a 3-pack. I can send you. No, it's fine. He says, so what we're going to do is, he goes, just keep that one. Return the one that was part of your return, and I'm going to refund you the money. So now I'm just irritated, but I said, thank you.
They're refunding you.
I said, is there any way you can send me a message and this and that? And he's like, no, there's no way for us to set this up here. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I thought we were done, right? So I got one I got to return. I've got one I've already returned, and I got one to keep. Now I'm sitting there going, okay, do I just get rid of the other ones? And now Delta Force is just randomly thrown into the Missing in Action world. And then on Saturday, this randomly arrived. The right one randomly arrives and is nowhere on our account.
I go look at the account. There's the one we need to send back. This one they did zero out as a replacement.
And I got one of the refunds so far.
And then that showed up, and it's not on our tracking history at all. So he did make it right, babe. He sent you the right movie. He found
I don't know if he sent it, because I'm thinking that
no.
I'm thinking the separate note that I sent that said I ordered this, I want this exact one. They saw the note and go, oh, this ain't right. Because this one, just mind you, doesn't even have the barcode on it.
I bet they went and bought it.
I think they did. I think they just stole it from some guy. Or they called Chuck and they said, Chuck, can you just send this over?
Oh, yeah, because you can just call Chuck. You can't. We've tried.
I did security for Chuck. I can just call Chuck.
I tried.
So anyway, that is the scandal of the Chuck Norris feature films. So if you want to get a copy of Missing in Action, you probably won't be able to order them because I own them all.
what we can do is we can have a copy of this to give away now.
Yes, because they've given me one that we're keeping, so we will probably be doing a giveaway. So if you
I want to know your favorite Chuck Norris movie.
like right now?
No, I want them to tell me their favorite Chuck Norris movie.
If you can guess my favorite Chuck Norris movie, think about that. If you can guess what my favorite, and there is one specific one that is my favorite.
Really?
There's like 3 or 4 that are in the top tier, but there's one specific that's my favorite. If you can guess what my favorite Chuck Norris movie is, I will give you this. If no one guesses it, I will pick the person that is closest within the top 3.
Okay.
So make it fair.
Cool.
All right?
There you go.
And I will be honest, if multiple people guess it, then I will draw the name randomly and you will get this nice
pick your
copy.
Name out of a hat.
Courtesy of Amazon.
Thank you, Amazon. Lord have mercy.
I don't even watch this movie.
Well, now we have to. Okay, what movies are coming out on the
Oh,
LTV?
Lord have mercy. Oh, we got to talk about our people real fast. The people we had to watch the movie with, the Alkies.
So our theater experience, we only saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We got to go to Alamo, which, by the way, I love Alamo because I love the fried pickles. I love the chips and queso. I'm all about that.
We spend too much money going there.
And my caramel shake. Thank you.
The salted caramel shake that I've been getting for years, and this was like,
I love the popcorn, but I don't get it because it's like this big. Unless I take several Ziploc.
The guy next to us got it and kept pushing it in front of me.
I don't know what his deal is. So we're at the screening. We didn't get to pick where we sat. They gave us seats to sit at.
But luckily we were close to the end.
It was okay, and luckily I didn't have to use the bathroom through that 3 hours, which is
no. But you only had one guy to get next to him.
Yeah, he was nice. The people next to us show up already kind of tipsy with their glasses of wine.
And you could tell they thought they were somebody. They were those kind of people. They were like, you know, he's the guy with his loafers and no socks. And she's walking around with her high heels and trying to act like she's somebody.
And then they ordered more wine and popcorn.
And they were mad because it took too long to get them their wine.
Yes, whatever. But then as soon as the movie was over, they were like peeling out. Because I think
during the movie, he was giving her a hand massage at one point. Yeah, I felt like I was in Quentin Tarantino's world. Like he was holding her hand like this. Like it was like this hand, I think.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, it might have been this one. I don't know. But he's sitting there and I'm watching. He's all like, but this is how he's doing it. His whole body's into it.
He was doing the Dutch rudder.
Yeah, the Dutch rudder. Anyway, but he was all into that, and then there was one point I think they were making out at one point. Then he was like this periodically. I don't know if he was awake or asleep. And then he would look at me and I'd be like
lovingly, or
I don't know. I don't know if he was trying to figure out what I was doing, which involved me watching a movie.
Yeah.
And then he would just kind of be like this. He'd be like, and so at one point I went, and then he looked away. And then,
too weird.
Then he had his popcorn and he like pushed it over. Like he got the popcorn and was just kind of trying to move it, but he shoved it right in front of where my drinks were. And I'm like, I almost reached up there and just thought, well, thank you. Then they decided just to wait because it was getting to the end of the movie.
It's not okay.
Yeah, and as soon as it was about to start credits, you could tell the movie was wrapping up.
Yeah.
They like climbed up. They were standing up and walking up, but they did the same thing coming in.
Yes.
Like in the
like we're sitting, like they were here. The guy wasn't there yet. It was me and then you. Oh, are you okay? Come up here. Come on up. And then the lady, you know, when you walk through and you're like, okay,
and I don't know, it's tight fit, so you got to stand up and kind of get out of the way. Up.
I wasn't even stood up, and this lady's butt is like pushing through me.
Yeah, she was trying to barrel through because she was like,
I'm like, okay,
I must sit down.
Whatever.
Anyway,
drunk biatch.
Moving on. Okay.
All right.
So that was
what's coming out on.
Oh, I had this other really weird experience. We were watching. I was watching this thing in the living room, and this crazy woman sitting on the other side of the room was going, oh, that was you. All right. See?
You laugh like that.
So this week,
I have to tell you.
Did you just do it and then say I don't laugh like that?
I have to tell you an experience.
Well, go ahead and tell them real fast.
Another experience. This was not a movie experience. This was
no one cares.
A live performance experience. We were at a company event this week. We celebrated our 20th anniversary. I was. And the performer is a super nice guy. He's awesome. But then, you know, I laugh at dumb things. You know that. I laugh at things that no one else laughs at.
This is accurate.
So he made a joke and it kind of deadpanned. He's like, nothing. And I cracked up because I find that funny.
I do that in my senior class when I'm working out and I'm cracking jokes.
She's like, nothing.
And I have the weights. The other day I was sitting here and nobody answered me, so I was like doing this to the waiter. Like, oh wait, is this thing on?
I laughed at that.
You did. I was like, is this thing on? And they just are like.
So I cracked up laughing, and you know when I laugh, you know it's me. Everybody's like, oh, that's Drusilla. And the guy on stage, he said something else, and later he's doing it. He's like, that'll make Drusilla laugh. But he called me out on stage. I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. So I do laugh really loud, and I apologize.
I don't think you have to tell people because everyone knows that.
All right, so they're like, oh, do the impression. They liked it. I do laugh like that. Oh. You got it down.
Oh, I do.
And guess who else laughs like that?
Your mom.
My mom laughs exactly.
Hey, go to a restaurant with both of them. It's like you're. It's like you're at a witch convention. All right. So moving on. Oh my God.
Oh, it's bad.
That's the life I have to live in. All right.
The funniest thing is the guy next to me. He's like, "We need to bottle this laugh. It is so funny." So thank you.
Moving on. This week on Blu-ray and DVD, we have a laundry list of things coming out. We have Ugly Dolls coming out, which we didn't get a chance to watch before the
stars? I'm not going to say Ugly Doll, but what's her name?
Was it Kelly Clarkson?
Kelly Clarkson. It has
Pitbull,
Mr. Worldwide,
and a bunch of other people.
Blake Shelton.
We'll talk about it next week because we didn't get a chance to watch it yet. But we are giving away a copy out of our website at
HollywoodMatrimony.com.
Also this week is the movie Long Shot, which we both liked with Seth Rogen and Charlie Sheen. I didn't find it as hilarious as you did, but I
thought it was hilarious.
I love the movie. I just didn't find it hilarious.
So now that is going to replace my Amy Schumer funny movie.
No, it won't, because you're going to forget you saw this movie, and you're going to keep going back.
Nothing has been as funny as Long Shot lately.
Every time she says something, she sees a funny movie, she goes, this movie is so hilarious. And then 5 minutes later, I haven't seen a funny movie since Trainwreck.
I like Trainwreck.
I don't know why I was Jack Benny all of a sudden.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
What? You don't know who Jack Benny is?
Maybe I do, and I don't know I do.
Oh, for God's sake. How do we even have a movie review website? Oh, it's because you don't do nothing. Also this week is The Intruder. It's coming on Blu-ray and DVD with Dennis Quaid, Megan Good, and Michael Ealy.
You just want to see Megan Good.
She is hot.
I know.
Girl, and she's in her bra and pantaloons in one scene, and I was all like...
I don't do that. When I say things about Brad Pitt, I didn't do that.
That made it okay by going, because then people think I'm stupid.
Okay,
I'm not being judgmental, I'm being a moron, you see.
I see.
And then also another one we enjoyed, I enjoyed, but it didn't do really well, was El Chicano.
I really liked it, you guys. You need to go watch it.
It's kind of a Mexican Punisher or Latino Punisher type movie. It's got George Lopez in it in a different kind of role.
Yeah.
Also this week is BoJack Horseman season 1 and 2. Hopefully, I got to follow up, but I might, if I get the okay, we might have a copy to give away. I don't know. Don't know yet.
You guys have been watching BoJack. It's on Netflix, right?
It is on Netflix.
You guys need to watch it.
They had a Christmas special. I think it's on season 4. We're behind, so we got to get caught up on all of them.
Go watch it right now.
They're bringing Glory, the Civil War movie that has Matthew Broderick and Denzel and Morgan Freeman. It's coming to 4K. Humanoids from the Deep is getting a Steelbook edition. There's a movie called Domino coming out and so many other things. So, there's a movie called Body at Brighton Rock that we have a copy, so we'll probably be talking about it as well. And there's a movie called Skin that I didn't get to watch this week that we'll probably watch and talk about. It's about a skinhead, Nazi-ish thing. But what's the big one we're going to get to talk about this week? I'm so excited!
I'm so excited. When are we seeing this?
Comes out this week. I don't have a screener, so we're going to have to see it with the masses.
Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, and I'm so excited because there are some nice-looking men in this movie.
I don't know.
And women. I will give them all props.
You're going to have to wear, like, multiple pairs of underpants for this movie because you got The Rock and Statham and Elba.
And I like Vanessa Kirby.
You don't even know who she is.
Yes, I do. She played Princess Catherine in the series about the Queen. The Queen. You need to watch her. She's really good. I like her. She's so pretty. But now we get to see her become
It's about the Queen. The Queen.
I think it's a Queen, right? The Netflix show. I have to go look it up.
I don't know if it's right or not. I was just thinking it's funny. Like, she's in that show about the Queen called The Queen.
don't know what it's called. I lost it.
Oh my God, you're a stupid woman.
The Crown. The Crown. But you know, I like that show.
I want her to be on the Queen instead.
I'm not a huge fan of Claire Foy, but I'm a fan of her in the show The Queen.
In
but
the
now the Queen, the Crown. Sorry,
in the show The Queen.
The Crown.
What is
but
wrong
now,
with you?
Now, didn't you tell me that they're going to start changing the actors out on The Crown, right?
See if you've been drinking.
But you said they're going to start changing out the actors on The
I
Crown,
don't
right?
know.
As we progress to them getting a little bit older.
I don't watch that crap.
Anyways, y'all need to go watch it. She is beautiful, and so she deserves it. But I do love The Rock, and I do like Jason Statham.
Did you know Roman Reigns is also in it?
Who?
You've seen him. You've only seen him in one thing, and he's a WWE wrestler. He's the one that me and you got to go to WrestleMania, and he wrestled, I believe, Triple H for the title.
Oh.
He is The Rock's real life cousin.
Oh, that's right.
And he plays one of the Samoan brothers.
And I'm excited about this because we're going to get to see a lot of Samoan guys.
Yeah, because I'm excited.
I'm excited for them.
I'm excited that what's his name is going to be it. That I really like that guy, Cliff Curtis.
Yes.
He plays Colombiana's dad in that movie. So he always plays like Mexican guys.
Yes.
But I believe he's Samoan or New Zealand. He's New Zealand or whatever.
Oh, we're going to get all our Pacific Islander people.
Yeah, so
props.
Jason Momoa was supposed to be in it as well.
Aww.
And they couldn't work it out because of stuff he was shooting.
Oh, your girlfriend's going to be in it?
Oh, yeah. Well, she's the mom.
Oh, girl, shoot. Yeah, there's Cliff Curtis. It's going to be good.
It looks like it's going to be an over-the-top ridiculous movie, but I can't wait. It's
ridiculous, but we're there just to support it.
That's right. So are we going to do an entire marathon?
Yes. I want to watch all Fast and Furiouses. I know
we got to watch them all again for next year when Fast 9 hits.
I'm going to watch all of them. So that's the big movie coming out. Coming out on Netflix is this movie called Otherhood with Patricia Arquette, Angela Bassett, and Felicity Huffman.
Uh-oh, Felicity Huffman.
Yes.
She's the one that's in trouble.
Is she?
She's one of the ones that's part of that college scandal.
Well, it's a Netflix movie, so it's available for everyone. So please go watch it. Those are going to be the two movies that are really coming out next week. And so we'll watch those. We'll talk about it. Watch it so you can chat with us.
Also, I want to send a quick shout out because it was sad. We lost Rutger Hauer this week. Who was, you would know him from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I loved him in Blind Fury, Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh, I remember Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah, The Hitcher. So I have this cool poster. It's Hobo with a Shotgun. It's autographed by the director. I got to interview the director, and I was really hoping to someday Rutger Hauer be at a convention and get him to sign it, but alas, it never happened.
That's too bad.
But this is going to be hanging in this room, to not only because it's autographed by him, but in honor of Mr. Hauer. Look, his name's big across the top, Rutger Hauer. But he passed away this week. He was just one of those cool actors. It was a great villain, and the guy that directed the guy that directed the movie, he posted a really cool. He's been posting a lot of stuff about his experience working with him and talking about how they just sat around and told stories about stuff and not even Hollywood stuff, just general stuff. And it was just a really great guy. And so
that's cool.
It's sad. If you've never seen The Hitcher, have you seen The Hitcher?
I have not.
Oh my God.
I've seen Hobo with a Shotgun.
Him and C. Thomas Howell about the crazy hitchhiker.
No.
Oh my God. The Hitcher is so great. There's a scene where they tie somebody between a diesel, like a tractor trailer truck and its trailer and then rips them in half. Oh my God. You got to watch The Hitcher. It's amazing. If you've never seen The Hitcher, check it out.
I don't know if that sounds amazing.
The Hitcher is so good. Blind Fury, Rutger Hauer, and Sho Kosugi. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. All right, so moving on. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. So don't forget, this week we have a plethora of content happening now in our world.
I'm so excited.
On Monday, tomorrow, it is Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, tomorrow, join me for Hollywood Matrimony's martial arts movie Monday, which normally I will not tell you the movie that we're talking about because I want it to be a surprise for the day. But in honor of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I was going to talk about Kill Bill, but because Mike Moe, who played Bruce Lee, is so awesome in the movie, we're going to jump right into Bruce Lee in his films. So Enter the Dragon, Chinese Connection, Fist of Fury, those kind of movies, Game of Death. So we're going to talk about Bruce Lee on Monday. And we wouldn't have most of our martial arts movies here, and nowadays we didn't have Bruce Lee. So we're going to watch that. Tuesday, we have our
TV Tuesdays. I am so excited.
And we apologize. We did not have a TV Tuesday this week.
Sorry.
Because she was busy laughing at an event. But we're going to make
up for it. I've started watching 3 new shows this week that we are going to talk about. I'm so excited. One you're going to hate, and I'm excited.
I'm already finishing up a show that hit Friday. I'm fixing to be done with the season already.
That's good.
We have another new show I want us to start at least a couple episodes in before the show.
Yes, we need to. And we need to catch up on some old shows.
That. And then on Thursday, join me back here for our weekly update of all the trailers, news, and information that's popped out through the week. And then you'll circle right back around here on Sunday at 7 p.m. too.
Hollywood Matrimony Live. Thank you so much for watching. We love you all. You're awesome. Make sure you check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Don't forget to go up to the top where it says contests. Click on it because that's where all the free stuff's going to be.
On the website.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're watching us on the YouTube, please click the little subscribe button. I think it's over here somewhere.
Yep, and you can jump over here and watch some fun trailers
over there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.